Okay, so pretty much we're going to turn it off. Thank you.
Thanks for using. I wish you a safe journey.
I think she likes me. Welcome back to the community, everybody, and thank you all for being part of it. Okay, today I was going to do the deck lid on the car because I need to sand and primer that and move to the trunk. And then once I hit the roof, I don't really have far to go then, believe it or not, besides the dashboard. But I had to hit the pause button. I got to do the Vevor heater. And I know I had 3 different people now with them sitting in our cart, not wanting to purchase them until they see me put it together and run it and test it out. So that's what we're going to do today. Sit down and relax. And then also remember tonight at 9 p.m. Eastern, the live chat on the channel here. Okay, let's get on it. Just a caution, since we're working with fuel, diesel fuel, and a very hot exhaust that you have to exit with exhaust fumes. This is for entertainment purposes. I'm just showing you how it functions and how it heats. What you do is up to you. Use your own best judgment. I'm not responsible for your mistakes, fires, or anything stupid. Don't be an idiot, that's all. All right, so we have the Vevor. I don't know if it's Vevor or Vevor, but I'm calling it Vevor because that's how I like it to sound. That's weird, huh? But anyhow, push this aside. I'm going to show you something real quick. I did buy a couple extra things for it. I'm not very safe with the straight edge, and I'll show you why. My buddy Ben, that guy there with his beautiful wife, I actually was talking to him because he set his exhaust up like you see here. And that's the way I'm going to do mine. I don't want to put a hole in my garage wall and it be stationed in one place the whole time. So I'm going to set mine up going on a little shelf next to the window with a board in the window. It'll make sense when you see it where I can remove it when I want to, so it's not in the way. So I did go ahead and went to Lowe's or Home Depot, I forget where I went, and I bought this to put on the board and a little fitting so that the pipe goes through it. I did also purchase from Amazon, very cheap, I think it was like $7, but I'm going to use it on the car too, is exhaust wrap. You know, header wrap, the wrap around the exhaust on your car, which I'm going to do on my headers because it'll dissipate some of that heat, you know, from going up to the engine. And I'm going to do that on the exhaust on this, going through the hole in the board. It was a lot to say. So let's open it up. We're going to have to cut a board to fit. You can do it which way you want. I'm doing it this way. So let's see what we got here. This is the 8K model. Just for reference, my garage is a 14 wide by 23 long, so you can get an idea. I did put pink insulation board. It's 1/4 inch across the ceiling because I have a peaked roof. And when you have a peaked roof, all your heat is going to go up and out and through the roof vent if you have one. And guess what? You can't heat your garage. So that is why I have pink board across the ceiling. And I'm no longer going to use it for storage, so it's fine. It will keep the heat in. So that's a little background on my garage so you can compare that to your garage and know if this will work. Let me pull this out of here. Let's take this off. And we're going to do this the right way. And you'll see what I mean. I'll be able to keep it mobile to move it around. Oh, there's a remote. Like a key fob. And at the same time, I can move it out of the way if I don't want it near the window no more. It'll make sense when you see what I'm going to build. It's real easy and cheap to do. So what we have here, this is where it can hook up to a car battery because that's what these are built for, RVs, cars, stuff like this, although this is a bigger one. I'm going to use a battery today. However, I'm going to buy one of them power inverters, I think it's called. so that I can plug it into the wall and not have to worry about a battery. So that's what I'm going to do there. So this is kind of nice. It says 5 liter for the fuel tank, and boom, you can see how much fuel you have in it, which is very convenient. Before I do some measurements, let's open this box. Let's see what we have in here. Okay, this is... Oh, you gotta be joking. Okay, well, I bought header wrap, and guess what? Looks like it comes with it. I didn't know. That's okay, I need it for my exhaust system anyhow. So, and it does say, install into the exhaust pipe as shown in the diagram. The exhaust pipe insulation sleeve must be installed in the exhaust pipe according to the following installation method to reduce surface temperature and prevent fires. See that? Probably looked in the box before I ordered stuff, but that's okay. Here is an intake hose. This is where the heat would come out of, showing you everything that comes with it. This is the exhaust pipe, and that's why I bought this, for where it goes through the wood. Hope that made sense. And I bought a little male end, like a nipple, to go on this. Ow. Because when this screws to the wood, that's still going to go right through there and then out. Okay. We have our little muffler. Wow. My hand's bigger than the muffler. That's a little baby muffler. And we have some hose clamps. Looks like a filter for the inlet. Throw the box, throw that, throw that. Make sure you throw everything. All right. Let's take a look at this. If you hear a little humming in the background, I'm charging the battery up that I have in the garage. All right, just for reference, this is almost 10 inches wide, and it is 14.5 inches long and almost 11 high. Now, what I am going to do, and I'll show you in the end, this here is where your exhaust and your intake come out of. So when they come down, they come out and bend. This doesn't really sit high enough for my comfort level. So we're going to make a board and we're going to step it up a little bit so there's room for it. Now this here is your intake. That's where it will pull the air in. And then we will be putting this on here, and then we can stretch it out to where we want. And that is the exhaust where the heat comes out of. So this will go on your keychain or hang on your garage wall to turn it on and off. You can download an app for this, which is pretty cool too. So, all right, let's start getting stuff set up to put it in the window. Now remember, you're all going to be setting this up different. I'm going to do a board and close the window on it so there's no air coming in. Some of you, thank you. Some of you are going to just drill a hole right in your garage wall and run the exhaust out there, but I like to be able to remove mine if need be. So I am going to cut a board to fit here, which will be 33. Thank you. So I cut my board at 33. There's a slot here, so I'm going to slide this up in just like that, and then the window will close on it. I'm going to make something to set the heater right here. A lot of you won't have to do this, but at least watching me do this part may give you an idea, so you don't have to drill a hole in your garage wall and have it in one place at all time. So this will be good here. I'm going to leave that like that, and I'm going to get a board to put here where I can mount it to it. So hang tight. Now, some of you are just going to be tossing the unit on the floor and punching a hole through your wall. I want mine up out of the way where I'm not going to be running into it. So I have a little piece of wood here, and I got to make sure it's at least 10 inches to where it sits, which that's pretty close. Let me double check. because I want to be able to move this as I please. So I'm going to go ahead and screw this to the windowsill. There we go. That's solid. It ain't going to go nowhere. I'm going to have to make sure the exhaust will reach this here. All right, I'm going to set this here a second. And that's going to be tricky. I guess I can make it work because it's going to have to bend and go out here. So that'll be a little bit of nightmarish. But I can't think of another way to do it. So we're going to put the exhaust on first so I can cut the hole and get it to the outside. One thing you're going to notice when you flip it here is one of these will have an arrow pointed down. Out would be the exhaust, and one will have an arrow pointed up in, which would be the intake. But make no mistake, this pushes the heat out and that pulls the air in, the fresh air. So that's just how it works. All right, this is the exhaust. So I'm wondering, might be easier for me to put it through there and then turn it out the side to go out. That might work better. And then the other one I can bring down and out. I'll get it figured out. Okay, so I'm going to bring it through there for the ease of it. And what we got to do is get a clamp on there. I'll bring you up close. Now you can buy a longer exhaust. They sell them on Amazon. Let me get this back off. Put this on so that we can tighten the exhaust on. And you got to kind of sneak down through here. Socket ain't going to make it. We'll go like this. I'll show you in a second. There. We're going to put it down through there. They leave you a little slot here for tightening, which is kind of nice.
Almost. I'm going to see if this will work that way.
There we go. Now don't go crazy and drop stuff. Now you can see how this elbows here, whether you're bringing it out that end or out this end. And one thing you're going to see how close that hot exhaust is going to be to the wood that you're setting it on. Okay, unless you're setting it on a concrete floor. Now there will be heat wrap around this, but still I'm going to elevate it up and I'll show you that so you don't run into a problem. But let's see if this reaches the window exhaust. All right. Oh, I should be fine. Okay, I'm going to have to see if that bends. But this will work good here. I'll block it up a little bit. And I'm going to have to bend this, which should be fine. Pretty much like that, and then out through the board. So let's block this up a little higher, and that should work good. And then we'll do our intake also. All right. I'm being a little paranoid here. I'm going to put a couple more screws down in, just so it ain't going to go nowhere. I know, ain't a word. There we go. There, that is solid. I might even put a little bit elbow under here, which is no big deal, just to secure it. So let's see how high, there's a nail sticking out, we need to go to elevate it up so it don't burn the wood. Now what I did here with mine is I got it up on some blocks, and I'll show you underneath in a minute. I didn't want this exhaust burning the wood shelf. We're going to go ahead and draw her, put it through there. And what I'm going to do is screw this to these blocks of wood, but I'm not screwing the blocks of wood to the shelf, because when I want to take this out, I just open the window and pull the thing out of the way, the whole unit. So if you want to mount your solid and put it out the wall, you can do that, but do it at your own discretion. So if you look underneath, I have clearance to where it's not resting on the shelf where it can start a fire. And I have enough clearance between the 2x4, and I'm also going to have the heat insulation wrap around the exhaust. So what I'm going to do is screw this down, and then we're going to go ahead and punch our holes in there with a hole saw blade. So let's do that next. All right, so this is approximate. I'm going to bend that a little more. We're going to make our circle here so we can punch our hole for the exhaust. Let's put that right there. I'll hold the window closed so it don't move. Take our sleeve, make sure it's going to go through there. Yes, it will. I gotta check something. Oh boy. This is too wide for here, although, let me see something here. I could probably, that should be okay. I can put screws here and hold it, and then it's not a big deal. There don't have to be one right here. This board's not wide enough, but that should be fine. Yeah, I think so. Here, here, and here. And then our pipe is going to go through there, which this all covers the wood, even though we're putting heat wrap on it anyhow. I don't think I have a wider board. I'll check, but I don't believe I do. So I went ahead and ran it through here. I don't have the muffler on the other end yet. But what I can do, I can leave this set up this way and just make sure this is sealed. And when I want to, open a window and pull it out, pull the whole thing out. So that's the strategy. Now, what I'm going to do here is run the intake next and put that through, because I want fresh air coming into that. All right, so we're going to take our intake tube. We're going to put it on here, but it's going to have to come down this way and out because it won't fit through here, and I don't want that up against the hot exhaust. So let's do that next. I'm going to have to mark a hole. There we go. Make sure I got room here, which it seems like it's going to work. I didn't screw the blocks onto this yet. I'll do that shortly. Wish the exhaust and inlet were set up a little differently, but it is what it is. Okay, so I can put that right through the hole there. And then what I'll do when I do need to take it out, I'll just slide the window open and pull the whole board out. So that should work there. Seems okay. I'm going to have to take this back off to put the heat wrap on it though. So, and then the muffler. So we're going to put this right here. Alrighty. Give me a second. I'll pop a hole in that. So I put their heat wrap on. I don't know how, I mean, it's fine, but it's really loose. I thought it would fit tighter. So I guess it is what it is. It'll keep the heat off of everything else. So let's set this up. I'm going to have to put the muffler on the outside of the board and screw it on there. All right, so let's get that out there. I don't like this heat wrap. Should use the stuff I bought probably. Although this... Oh, this heat wrap's not going to fit through here. If I get the other stuff and wrap it, it probably would. But I don't know. I mean, it should be fine. In all honesty, we'll give it a try. See if the wood gets hot. It should be okay because it's going through that nipple on the outside. All right. I'm going to screw this down to the blocks now to stabilize it. That Let me pull out a hair. I'm going to make sure the window can open to pull the board to slide this out when I want to. So that'll work. Okay, I'm going to screw this down to the blocks, open the window, and put the muffler on, or the silencer, and then the air intake filter on out there. Alrighty, so I pulled the board out of the window. We're going to put the muffler and the air intake on here. This air intake is not to bring fresh air into the heater system, I don't believe. This is where the air is coming in. So I'm going to stand this up a minute here. And we're going to, whoops, probably need to clamp on there. The little muffler, they call it a silencer. Okay, let me tighten this up. Come on. Our little air filter. All right, we'll tighten this up. So I'm going to set the wood sleeve right in here, just like this. Slide it over a little bit. That way I can take this in and out when I want to. Close the window on it. There we go. So this is set up now. And let me bring you up here. So I got the heat wrap on here, and you can see underneath there's clearance plus heat wrap, or whatever you want to call it. When you look out the window, you can see the muffler and little air intake out there. Now I'm going to test to make sure this wood doesn't get hot. It shouldn't. Hopefully it should be fine. Well, it's the next day because I forgot to buy diesel fuel. I know. The most important thing needed. Okay, let's put some fuel in this, figure out the control panel on it, and let's get it running. It's actually 42 degrees out, so it's actually better because it was 60 yesterday, so I wanted to get up here a little earlier while it's colder out, so let's do it. One thing I did want to mention, with this wonky thing for me to put in the window, if I run this, 3-4 times and I really, really, really like it, then I'm going to do a more permanent mounting somewhere. My garage is just a mess right now, but this will work for now with what I'm doing. Let's get the fuel in. I like this because you can see right here. You don't have to go. It's easier. You can look right at the side and see how much fuel's in it. All right. I don't like all this safety crap on them now. Makes it 10 times harder to do the pouring of it. There we go. I think my buddy Darren Wall was complaining about that recently, about the safety nozzles on them. Okay, that's good enough to get it started. Oh, we have 50%, 2.5 liters. Lid's stupid. All right, give me 1 second. All right, let's open our window. I mean, this isn't a big deal if I want to leave it this way, but I would like it more permanent eventually. Here we go. Whoop. All right, I'm going to show you where the heat comes out, the hose to put on it. We're going to wire it to the battery. And like I said, I'm probably going to get a, I think it's called an inverter, I believe. And I can plug it into the wall technically with an adapter, so I don't have to keep using a battery, because the battery I have is old that sits in the garage. Also, if this does work out and I'm happy with it, I'm going to mount it more in a permanent structure instead of the board in the window. But for right now, it's good because I got too much going on. So this is where the heat comes out. we have this big hose to put on it. Okay, that fits good. Let's tighten it up. Remember, this is like a aluminum, so don't go crazy. Now, for the end of it, so now we have these two pieces, okay? This is going to go into the end of here and get tightened, and then this deflector is what I call it. You can angle it any way you want to, so it blows this way, up, down, left, right. So I did see from watching some videos, they do sell the longer intake and exhaust lines that come out from underneath to go outside. You can buy longer, I call it snorkels. You can buy longer ones. And the reason I'm saying this, as soon as I get all this mess cleaned up, all this out of here, then I'm going to mount it in this area permanently and have it go through the wall. But for now, this is good to check it out. All right, they give you all the hose clamps, everything you need. Let's tighten this up real quick. Okay. We're going to take, this should snap into here. As I said, should snap into there. There we go. Come on. There we go. Now, as you can see, this turns. So you can aim it whatever way you need to. And this will stretch out, of course, much further. But that's good for right now. What I would like to do is, once I have this come off here, I'm going to get some pieces for it. Once I mount it permanently on the wall and have it split off into a Y, two different directions. So I have a battery sitting here right now. And obviously, you know, there's a fuse in here, which is a good thing. And you know, red is hot, black is ground. I'm just going to clamp them onto these terminals. Trying to pay attention to what I'm doing. We've got power. Now, something I don't normally do, and our panel did light up. It says 1201 is redirections. The instructions are a little weird, but I think from a different language, they did pretty good. Instructions, turn on off the heater. Okay, press the on-off key to on or off the heater. Change the run mode. Press the on-off key more than 3 S's 3 times to change the run mode for the heater. It will loop at manual mode and automatic mode. Adjust temperature, da-da-da-da-da. You know what? Let's mess with this. I hate directions. Let's turn on.
Start heating.
Whoa! It talked to me! Didn't have a very nice voice, but that's okay. All right, I feel cold air coming out. Wait, we got to do something. It is 48 degrees. I'll test it again another time when it's even colder out, but that's chilly in the garage. I think it's actually priming is what it's doing. So while that's priming, we have changed the run mode off and on, blah, 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 blah. Okay, adjust temperature units. In the automatic mode, press the up key more than 3 times to switch from Celsius to Fahrenheit. Okay, now it is in Fahrenheit. That was easy. Adjust power level setting manual mode. Use the, I guess that's the pump. Up and down keys to adjust output power. In automatic mode, use the up and down keys. I hate directions. I'm just waiting for it to prime because I believe that's what it's doing. We still have cold air. I think it's, okay, we have it at 96 degrees. That's kind of crazy. Let's put it at, we'll put it at 69 degrees. Okay, it's definitely blown some smoke outside. Thank goodness we have wrap around that exhaust because it's hot. Wished I had infrared. Mine broke for checking the temperature. Don't put your hands in this like me. I can feel that pipe is pretty seriously hot. This wrap, though, is helping. The wood's not hot. Don't touch it with your fingers. I'm touching my adapter. Adapter isn't hot either yet. Okay, let's let it run. I will say this heat's pretty hot coming out of here. I'm actually quite surprised. I mean, I am and I'm not. Don't pay attention to the clock. I knocked the wire off the terminal twice now because I have the jinky setup bit. Okay, we're going to check back in 30 minutes. Hold tight a minute. Well, you'll be back in 2 seconds. I want to see what the temperature's coming up to in the garage. I'm liking this already. I'm going to read over some of the instructions too, because there's a lot you can do with this, with having it kick on, put it in manual mode, all that stuff. I'm here just to tell you if it heats up. Okay, this is what I'm talking about. I have so much crap. I'm going to just start throwing a ton on the marketplace real cheap that I don't need. There's oil bath units and windshield washer bottles and extra alternators. Those are the 74s. I just have too much crap because I wanted to build something permanent there where it can be against the wall and vent it outside. All right, so it's been almost a half hour. We're a couple minutes shy, blowing nice hot air. The fuel pump's a little annoying, but we're going to do some mods later to quiet everything down, although it's really not that loud. I don't know if you can hear it. Knock, 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 knock. I don't know. I guess I film, so I need quiet when I'm filming, for except the neighbors. But outside of that, I will say one thing. The heat is very hot blowing out of here, and about a yard away, I can still feel the heat. So it blows nice and smooth. My only concern, this is very hot. I have this heat mesh, whatever you call it, on here, and I can't touch that. Now, I can't touch this either. The flange I put on there, ouch, that's hot. Now, the wood don't feel hot here, which is really weird, but that don't mean the wood behind here is not hot. Take big caution on how you mount this because it can catch something on fire. I'm going to redo mine, and I'll explain it when I'm done to make it better, because lots of people use these. This is very hot, but I do have an idea for it. We are about 30 minutes in, and we went from 48 to almost 54. That isn't too bad because my garage is a 14 by 23. Now, some of you that have the double car garages, it's going to take a while to heat it up. We are going to keep editing the film right now, though, at least for another hour. I'll keep coming back and forth so you're not sitting that long, and we'll keep checking the temperature. What I want to do, I'll explain in the end of the video to prevent a fire with the heat from the exhaust. It should make sense. And I want to do a couple mod videos on this. We're going to take it apart and mod it so the fuel pump's a little quieter, things like that. Although it's really not that bad. I just film a lot. Now, something I wanted to explain to you. Diesel heaters act like a dehumidifier almost, believe it or not. They're a dry heat, unlike propane, which is more of a moist heat. I hope that makes sense, and I hope I'm explaining it properly. You won't have the condensation, which can turn into mold in your tent, RV, your garage, wherever you're going to use this. Always use caution, no matter what. But that's something you need to know. It almost acts as a dehumidifier. Bet you didn't know that. All right, so we are back another 30 minutes later. This has blown some serious hot heat, there's no doubt. Ignore that. I knocked the clamps off the battery terminal again. That really aggravated me. So altogether, about an hour, okay, maybe a tad longer, not much. We brought it from 48 to 58, almost 60 degrees. That really isn't that bad, in all honesty, because my garage is not insulated, and my big metal windows, they pretty much just keep the rain out. They're very bad old windows. I mean, it depends on your garage. Mine, I can feel a lot of cool air coming from the garage door, things of that nature, so that's not too bad so far. I can't remember if I had already said the outside temperature, but it's right here at 39. It was actually about an hour or so ago. It was around 37 maybe. I can't remember. So bear in mind, non-insulated garage, an old wooden garage door, and 2 single pane metal windows that you could feel the air come through. So It is actually doing what it's supposed to do. I'm going to come back in 2 seconds, which will be another half hour, and we'll see where it's at. So another half hour has passed, and I figured something out. This thermometer, while it looks cool with, you know, the Route 66 logo, is not that accurate. And it's not technically its fault. The back of it must be where it grabs the temperature from, and it's sitting against a cold wall, which is dropping the temperature. And the reason I caught it, I have an industrial, pretty much thermometer, whatever you want to refer to it as. And this is like from the mill. It's industrial. And look, it's 72 in here. I didn't realize it till I walked by and glanced at it. So I did take it outside. It dropped and then came right back up when I came in here. I knew it seemed really warm in here, and I'm thinking, man, this isn't normal. But I guess the back of that thermometer being against the cold wall was stupid. I hung it more for decor. It was like $5. But the industrial one that I have showed the accurate temperature. So, but when I did come in here, yeah, it was in the mid to high 40s. So that was about right. I think it works quite well, to be honest with you. So let's go over a couple of things. Lots of hot air rushing out of here still, continually. Never slowed down, never skipped a beat. Used about a little bit of fuel, not a whole lot, because I forget what was in it in the beginning. The exhaust on here gets really hot. This here I won't even touch, but I do have an idea. What I'm going to do with this in the end is, once this cools down, of course, I'm thinking about taking this back apart, the exhaust, using header wrap on it that's nice and tight around it, and then this sock over top of it, and it should be a big difference. This flange is very hot. Oh, that was stupid. I don't have an infrared. I can't find it. The wood is not hot, although I'll guarantee the immediate area underneath this flange where the wood is probably burnt a little. I'm guessing. I don't know. I'll know when I take it apart. I'm going to... They have a double wall flange where the heat won't go to the outside of the flange where the wood touches. So I'm going to buy one of those. But do I approve of it? Yes, I do. I do approve of it. I give it a thumbs up. I think that I'm going to do some mods to it to make the fuel pump a little quieter with the dunk, 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 dunk. But then again, come on, they're like $100. What do you expect? But I'm going to try to insulate the fuel pump. We'll take it apart. I'll do that in a different video one day. That'll have to be an extra video. Quiet the fuel pump down. I don't like where I seen a wire coming through the housing. I'm going to put a rubber grommet around it so it don't cut through. The battery situation, basically these are made for RVs and things of that nature. So obviously I have it hooked to a battery temporarily, which you probably would permanently in certain situations. However, I want to go ahead and get a inverter, I believe it's called, so I can just plug it into the wall, and these two wires here will twist onto the inverter. And then you don't have to worry about a battery or keeping a battery charged. This exhaust gets very, very hot. This is not a game. Do this all at your own discretion. If you screw up and burn something down or do anything, that's on you. Follow the directions that you get. They're not that great, but it's okay. This, I swear the exhaust gets as hot as the exhaust on a car. So be careful how you put it through your wall. You need to basically use your best judgment so nothing bad happens. Otherwise, I do think it heats very well. It's better to set it up permanently than what I did. So there you have it. All right, that was quite the different video this week, but I did want to, I got winter hitting right now, so I had to get everything set up and try it out. So if you like the Vevor heater, go down in the description. No, I do not. I'm not an affiliate program. I do not get commission. You do what you feels right. I do like it, though, personally. Exhaust system's a little scary. Gets a little hot, so use your best judgment and take your time and think straight. Tonight at 9 p.m. Eastern, I'll see you on live chat on the YouTube community channel here. I hope to see you. And, of course, ignore the beginning of the video. When you see me all dirty like that, I was trying to clean up the garage and didn't realize how bad I looked. Okay, I hope everybody has a great, great day, and I'll see you tonight.